Blessed evening, collective. How's it going? How are you experiencing this Pluto retrograde in Capricorn energy? It is one of a kind, and I mean that literally. I mean everything with Pluto is really one of a kind, but it's changing signs. It's doing this little dance between Capricorn and Aquarius. I'm not sure that's ever happened before. I mean that. I'm not an astrologer, whatever, but Pluto moves very slowly, right? It's the furthest planet. It's still a planet. Don't tell me it's not. I grew up when Pluto was a planet. To me, it's a planet. It's an astrological body. Oh, thank you. Here's another astrological body. Appreciate that. It moves very slowly. It only transits every couple of hundred years, essentially. The last time Pluto was in Aquarius at all was during the French Revolution, 1700s, and it was at a different degree. The fact that it's at this specific place where it had just entered Aquarius and then slipped back into Capricorn. See, normally it would be in a sign and then it would retrograde but stay in that sign because it was far enough into the sign to kind of just remain there. Because it was at these very early degrees of Aquarius, the retrograde goes back into the previous sign, which is Capricorn, at a specific degree, the 29th degree. I've already talked about this, but it's a big deal. It is a big deal. Not only is Pluto only in Aquarius once every couple hundred of years, I don't believe it's ever been at this precise degree. This is one of a kind energy. If you are alive right now, you are here for a big reason. Let me tell you that. If you don't believe it, it doesn't matter. You're here. That's proof enough. I've been itching to pull a reading all day. It's been very busy. The energy has picked up. It's picked up speed. Things are picking up. It doesn't have to be big, obvious events. It could just be a general sense of busyness. It's escalating. Things are escalating. I wanted to pull after the reading yesterday, specifically on the divine feminine and masculine energy. I want to focus on the feminine, but I like to have the comparison between the two because that reading was a lot about masculine energy in general. And that applies to everyone. Everyone has masculine energy. And that is my primary intention when pulling these readings, is to focus on our internal balance of those polarities. With that comes the external version. It's unavoidable. All energy is connected. And I am interested in that too. But primarily my focus with this is how it is progressing us collectively, ascending the planet, evolving the consciousness of us. And so today I want to pull on these polarities. How is Pluto specifically affecting them right now? Saturn retrograde kind of comes with it because we're right there on the edge of it, and the surrounding aspects do too, but I am specifying the effect of Pluto itself. So here we go. The devil. This is, I wasn't sure about this. Okay, so I remembered what's at the bottom of these decks. I couldn't forget it. You'll see why in a moment. It's because I had already peeked what was under this devil. This is for the divine feminine. Don't be alarmed. This is being revealed for a big reason. It's truth. It's healing. It's epiphany energy. It's, I get it. The divine feminine, everybody's learning lessons. Feminine, masculine, it's unavoidable. It's what we're here to do. We are here to grow, to learn, to expand. Again, lessons are not a punishment. That's an abstraction from the human egoic construct, has a lot to do with the environment of school and schooling as we understand it to be. No, this is about growth. It's about learning. It's about the joy of learning, which we all knew as children before we were put into the rigid system of it. We knew the experience of learning to be a wondrous thing. We wanted to explore and understand the world. We were curious about it. We wanted that adventure. Lessons are being learned here for both sides. For the feminine, This is being removed, revealed quite clearly. It's time to do away with it. We have no more time for it. Once we see it, it's gone. It's time to rebuild on a new stable foundation. Yeah, look at that. Come on. Once we see it, it's gone. Once we see the foundations we've built upon that were sand, once we see the towers within us, we knock them over. It's that simple. We let them be removed. It's happening both ways. Yeah, one way or another, this is happening. For the feminine, it's a much more intuitive process. It's a much more natural process because she has the secret, especially if you are here. You have the secret. The secret is surrender. The secret is understanding that this is all to your benefit and just trusting it, surrendering to the process. That makes it all a lot easier. And this is what we're moving towards, is this Nine of Cups. Nine of Cups bookending the Devil here, in my interpretation of this spread. It's steadfast. There is an understanding that by allowing these lessons to wash through us, by allowing things to be revealed, to be removed, that there is no additional work required. It's just letting this take place. That's how we steadfastly move towards our 9 cups, happiness, peace, wish fulfillment, these things. That's how we achieve that within ourselves. We're moving towards the balance of our own energy, which feels good, right? Which, look at that. Come on, the Hierophant at the top. Deeply spiritual lessons, and the feminine understands that these are deeply spiritual lessons. This is a big deal. This is not basic math. This is advanced calculus. And the feminine is here for it, is here to learn, saying, let me learn. I'm here for this. So let's talk about it. Tell me about the feminine energy, divine feminine energy, as influenced specifically by Pluto right now. There is, of course, no time in the energy. There's not really any time anywhere. It's all an illusion. But I am pulling on this moment. Now. Oh, okay. And that's it. We have a card jumping out. Look at that. The Wheel of Fortune. Everything shifting. A new perspective. A releasing of tension. Moving into the next phase, into the new stage, into the advanced, the improved, the more. Ready to take this test as many times as necessary, knowing we will achieve it. We will pass. Because Saturn is sitting here with us going, here's where you missed that problem, so let's do it again. And again, the feminine is ready for it. What jumped out? It's our top card. Yeah. 8 of Pentacles, putting in the work. Here for it. Here to do it. Also, there's a release of effort here. There's a relaxing into the energy. If this hasn't happened for you, then take this as your sign. Just relax. Just take a deep breath and relax. There is nothing additional you need to do here. Just be. Just express. Let the emotions flow. Let whatever comes up, come up. It's just here for review. It's just here to be acknowledged. Truly, freely, without judgment. To just be witnessed fully. That's it. You let this happen and everything shifts. This is us moving towards the 9 of Pentacles, the liberation. Freedom. Liberation from karma. Liberation from that stagnant energy. I want to know what's under this Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, just look at it. It's just 7 Pentacles. Things are naturally arising. There is nothing additional you have to do. This is a natural process that is taking place. There's nothing you have to do in much the same way that once you plant something, you're really not involved in the growth of that thing. Yeah, you can say there's some nurturing involved. You keep it watered. But it's rising up to be witnessed. And it will be. Yeah. What's going on for the masculine? So, that Ace of Swords that was under the Devil on the feminine side is on the surface for the masculine. Epiphanies on both sides. I haven't looked under this one. So I'm very curious to know. Oh, look at that. Look at that emotion right there. I love tarot. I love energy. I love witnessing the unfolding of this story as the universe tells it. It's not my story. It's the universe's story. I just get to speak it, which is really fucking cool. On the feminine side, we're having revelations about toxic patterns, right? Toxic energy, toxic behaviors within ourselves. Old, long-standing patterns, things that we were unconscious of, that were programmed into us. Acknowledging them and moving forward, allowing that energy to flow freely. Once you acknowledge devil energy, stagnant energy, it releases its grip over you. It takes some practice, absolutely, because again, it's conditioned. It's just a pattern. A belief that doesn't serve you is just a thought that doesn't serve you, that you've thought repetitively. Again, you don't have to unclog those pipes. You just notice as often as you do when that thought comes up, when that type of thought comes up, and you look at it. You say, I see you. I know what you are. You're just old thinking, old patterns, fear-based, control-based, ego-based. That's okay. I don't have to follow that anymore. I can just look at it. For the masculine side, it's all about emotion. It's about the emotions that were denied. I mean, and it's a lot. I don't know what else to say. It's the Queen of Cups. It's the most love in the tarot. The Queen of Cups holds the Ace of Cups. This Ace of Cups is overflowing, and it's undeniable. There's pain here. There is a lot of pain. There's so much emotion, and the divine masculine energy has been afraid of emotion. They have turned emotion into a scary, dangerous thing, and so the feeling of it is very scary and dangerous. It's very triggering to divine masculine energy. This is going to be a very triggering transit, which is always a good thing. Triggers are there to help us learn the lessons, to help us see, oh, there's a thing that I haven't looked at. There's a piece of old programming where I am reactive in an unconscious way. Now I'm conscious enough to witness that reaction happening, and I can make a different choice. What's underneath? The Hierophant on this side too, but in the surface energy, yeah, it's a little louder over here. I'm just drawn to, I'm hearing crow calling in my head. It's a lot louder. It's time to let go of something. It's time to stop holding back. There is a move that needs to be made. That move may just be the expressing of this emotion. That's definitely a part of it. What's underneath that? Yeah. Six of Pentacles. There's free flow that needs to happen. But there's also the realization it's about giving to the wrong things, but a lot of it has to do with the internal aspect of placing mind over heart, of putting the sensible or logical before emotion, before that which we are intuitively guided towards, before that which is actually emotionally satisfying. How we have put all of this stock and investment into, again, the practical applications, but that's really not been serving us. Yeah, it's really just left us out. There's a stepping back here. There's a new perspective happening that is very painful, seeing how we've left ourselves out of the satisfaction by shutting off the emotion. We've lost all feeling for life. Living in an emotionless state, living logically and repressing feeling, which is the soul. We've cut ourselves off from the enjoyment of life. One more. Yeah, King of Cups. It's time to spill. There is emotion overflowing here in a rather dramatic fashion. And what's on top, since we pulled it? Yeah, 8 broken cups. It's time to leave this behind. I remember this. I don't remember where it was, but I remember this energy from the reading yesterday. It's those cups that are just being illustrated to us as broken, whereas before We might have been able to deny it. We might have been able to pretend to convince ourselves that they weren't. There's no more convincing here. It's not working. They are obviously broken. And it's become obvious that we've been lying to ourselves about it. That we've sat in this situation. We're not happy. On the feminine side, all of that, it comes up and we just walk through it and say, yes, let me walk towards the happiness, letting the contrast serve. On the masculine side, it's a lot of realizing how we haven't been letting contrast be contrast. We've been denying, we've been repressing the emotions, trying to make it into something that it's not. Tell me about the divine masculine energy as influenced by Pluto right now. It's uncomfortable. It's very tense. Oh, wow, that's a big block of cards. Okay. Okay. Everything fell apart here. Oh, that's gonna beep for a second. I apologize. Making rice. Okay, there we go. Three of Pentacles. Comes out on this side too. It's slow growth. It's slow burn. It is a little bit of that revealing that we've been making mountains of molehills. We've kept ourselves stuck. There's a journey that's been waiting for us. There's a new beginning that's been waiting to happen. And we've kept ourselves pinned to something. Gosh, I got a lot of cards that fell out. Let's see. There's that pain right on the surface. Three of Swords. Crossed by justice. Yeah. It's undeniable. Number one, that we're in pain on the masculine side. Number two, that we caused this pain by choosing to stay in it. Number three, that we have the power and the choice at any time to alleviate this pain by following the flow of our own energy, by letting emotion express, which is the balancing of that energy. The cards underneath that, Four of Wands, crossed by the Page of Swords. It was a struggle to say that. I wanted to call this a Page of Pentacles because this is a painful lesson. They're trying not to see it, but they can't not see it, and it's very disappointing. It's real upsetting. It doesn't feel good to look at this, to look at the things that we have married ourselves to. And that doesn't have to be a person. It can be a person. It can be a family. It can be a place. It can be all kinds of things. Anything that we've made sort of this ruler, this third energy, which again doesn't have to be a person. It can be internal behavior as well, married to a way of thinking, married to the repression of emotion in the self. That's here too. Long-term patterns of forcing down the feeling, of pretending it didn't exist, just repeatedly ignoring it. And we're seeing how that's led us astray, how that's really led to instability. We thought that was the sensible thing to do. Again, that was what would lead to balance and security. It's the opposite. It's only kept us small, shaky, afraid. It's the equivalent of wearing leg braces your entire life when you don't need anything like that. You just were afraid of your legs getting hurt. And so you wore braces your whole life, thinking that that was the way, that you would always be stable because of that. And now you're understanding you're just weak. I don't mean that in an insulting way. It's because you've never used those muscles. We've just let muscles atrophy that needed to be used. Emotion, love is a muscle. Connecting to your intuition, your soul, that's a muscle. When we shut that down, we let that muscle atrophy, and then working back into it, practicing it again, is a little painful at first. It takes some doing. We're understanding that we've let this go far too long, that it's not serving us at all. We would have been better served. There's regret here for having repressed emotion for so long, seeing how it's hurt us, understanding that now we have this journey back to the soul. But that's what all of this is. Again, there's nothing that's gone wrong. We all had to reach that point. We have all come to this place collectively where that muscle sort of atrophied, and now we're waking up, and it's kind of like a limb that's been asleep for a long time. It hurts at first as you regain that sensation. There's a lot of pins and needles and uncomfortable feelings, things that you haven't felt before as it's coming back to life. But it's all part of the process, and it's all been for a greater purpose. I just wanted to know what was on top. I'm taking this whole block of cards, but Eight of Wands. Yeah, it's coming out. It's coming out. One way or another, this pain is unable to be suppressed any longer, and it needs to be expressed. Again, quite literally, it just needs to be communicated. It needs to be spoken about. Whoever or whatever this Four of Wands is connected to, and with Justice here, I can't deny the fact that Justice and the Four of Wands is like, that's divorce energy. It is calling for divorce. Doesn't have to be from a person, although that's certainly here. It's divorcing from this way of being, where we have sat in the pain, where we have done this to ourselves. It's time for that long-term pattern to come to an end. And the Hierophant speaks to that too. Here, what's underneath this? Yeah. Three of Wands. It's very clear whether or not anybody wants to see it. It's being highlighted, illustrated, laid out in front of them in a way that is just unmissable. Why this deck keeps splitting? Five of Swords. Yeah, they're trying not to see it. They're trying not to see it because that's the pattern. The pattern is, ouch, I feel the pain, and then I look somewhere else. I try to smother it. I try to hide. I try not to look at it. The work is to look at it. The work is to acknowledge it again fully, to feel it fully. That's the only way this gets resolved. That's the only way the pain gets resolved. That's the only way the lessons sink in. And again, this isn't working under this energy. The old ways of being, the old habits, the previous energy of Pluto and Capricorn, where we were able to deceive ourselves, because that's a big part of that energy, that's coming to an end destructively, quite severely at the 29th degree, for the purpose of healing this long-term wounding. This is very interesting. I'm going to pull the Wheel of Fortune off the top for the feminine and just sort of pull this out. Let's talk about it. Tell me a little bit more about the feminine energy. Feminine energy. Nope. Will that happen fast? I'm dropping cards. The Hermit. Yeah. Soul is awake. Soul is in the lead. We're very familiar with this. We're ready for this. It's leaning into the soul. I mean, that's what the feminine has the advantage of. Feminine energy essentially is deep soul energy. It's emotion. It's intuition. Yeah, what fell out? Oh, look at that. I picked it up this way. This is the way it is. It's Five of Cups reversed. I mean, freedom from disappointment. Understanding. Again, learning the lesson that there is no disappointment. Everything that's happened has happened for your benefit. If something didn't happen, that was good. Didn't happen. If the runner didn't come in, if you got rejected from whatever, by a person, by a job, rejection is divine protection. Always. Always, always, always. There's a new perspective on this entire experience, on the whole soulmate cycle, the whole runner-chaser dynamic. This has been for us to learn these lessons so that A, we could grow our energy, and B, mostly, we could discover this secret to feeling good. Learn about how energy works, how it flows, what it means to balance energy, how you do that, why it feels good to do that, how we live this happily ever after life, how we step into our roles as divine deliberate creators, all of this. What's read with the Hermit? 7 of Pentacles. Yeah, I mean, I didn't get to shuffle very much for a reason. Everything is happening now. There's a deeper faith here. The same way that a farmer has faith when they plant a seed in the ground, that seed is going to grow into something. It's going to grow into a plant. It spends a long time underground, totally invisible. And the farmer doesn't get impatient waiting for that seed to sprout and then just dig it up and eat the seed, right? They let it grow. They have faith that it's going to grow. They nurture it with water, which is emotion, the free flowing of emotion, and then they trust that it's going to all work out. And it does. It is. We are seeing the things that we have planted, the seeds that we have sown, which ones we want to continue growing and which ones we don't. And it's all good. Again, we had to plant all of the seeds and see the fruits to learn. Some of those seeds are contrast. That's a great thing. We learn from that. I'm not going to plant these seeds again. Thank you. Thank myself as well. I appreciate myself for being willing to try out all of these seeds and see which ones from their fruits I want to keep growing. Now's our opportunity to do that. What's read with that 5 of Cups in reverse? Yeah, 3 of Wands on this side too. There's a lot of recurring cards between them, but in different positions, and that's important. It's just, it is new perspective on this, anything that was disappointing. Understanding how to turn disappointments around by shifting your perception of them. Then the thing that was disappointing is actually something you appreciate, and you're not disappointed anymore. It's a magical thing. There's an awareness, again, this growing trust, this faith, seeing how the process works, understanding how we do it, how we lean into it, that it feels good to do that, that if nothing else, it feels good to surrender. And you can always surrender. You surrender to the present moment, you surrender to the flow of your emotions. That feels good. We're always on top. We're getting the hang of this. What's underneath that Hermit? Because I'm curious. Well, there's the Hierophant again. Yeah, understanding the spiritual lessons, embracing this long-term change. And the Ace of Cups, that's flowing. Not directly underneath. What's underneath that? Come on. That's flowing. 3 of Cups. Yeah, it's wide open. It's just, I got this. I get it. So all it takes to feel good is to go with the flow? Okay, I'm here for it. I am here to go with the flow. I'm here to feel good. Let's party. All right, I'm going to take... no, all of that stays here. I'm going to leave it there because it came out for that reason. I'm taking this off the top, 3 of Pentacles, crossing that 3 of Swords clusterfuck underneath. Tell me about the divine masculine energy. So they've been building with things that hurt. And there's a realization that maybe you shouldn't do that. Maybe hurting is not a thing you need to do. Maybe it's bad to feel bad. Not, it's kind of an extrapolation, but just maybe it's good to feel good. And I've been actually avoiding that. Okay. And we have cards jumping already. So, yeah. Yeah. I've been building with 8 broken cups. I've been trying and trying and trying to turn this into something that I want, into something satisfying. Or I've just been believing that this was all there is. Or that I wasn't worthy of more. That's here too. But it's time, again, This is being revealed, where in the past, divine masculine energy could sort of convince itself that this was okay. It's just obvious now. It's obvious that this hurts, that we're sitting in it, and we have the choice. We could change this. We could just walk away. If we don't, it's going to keep hurting. There's no more denying that. What's the card that jumped out? There's that Page of Pentacles that I felt earlier. Yeah. This lesson is being learned. It was reversed, and it's a little bit resistant. It's hesitant. This is a painful, these are painful cards. These are painful lessons. They don't want to look at them. But it's happening anyway. That's just what it is. And it's all pointing towards the feminine energy, within and without. Primarily within, because the soul has been suppressed. Again, soul energy is very feminine, the way that I feel it. I'm not talking about how anybody theorizes. It's intuitive, it's emotional. The masculine energy is the ego, the mind. It's logical. It wants the logical, rational explanation. The masculine energy is realizing, following that path and shutting down the soul, the feminine, has left it in despair, has left it out in the cold, has left it drinking from broken cups all this time. Yeah, it's overwhelming. But it's clear that there is actually a way, where they never thought there was a way out of this. It's becoming crystal clear. The way out is to stop, is to walk away from this behavior, from this pattern, from whatever this is. What's red with that Eight of Cups? Yeah, come on, man. It sucks. Yes, it sucks. There's so much pain on this side. I mean, it's anxiety. Again, they don't want to look at this. It's really uncomfortable. There's panic here, but not looking at it doesn't make the panic go away. And that's being realized too. And it's a, oh my God, what do I do? Damned if I do, damned if I don't kind of energy. Well, you gotta just do. The only way out is in, is through, is in allowing this, in realizing this is the result of sitting in contrast. Contrast that was meant to serve you by being contrast, by being something uncomfortable, by being that hot stove that you put your hand on and then go, ouch, maybe I don't do that because that doesn't feel good. Not, well, let me just try to convince myself that it feels good. Maybe I can just get used to this. No, that's not how it works. That is not how it's supposed to work. That isn't how it works. That's not what we're here to do. What's red? Look at that. Red with the Page of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles on this side too. Again. But this is the sitting in it. This is being forced to face the lesson. For the Divine Feminine, it's, yeah, I'm ready. I got this lesson. Bring me the next one. I'm ready to move forward. I'm ready to keep learning. For the masculine side, it's, I don't want to look at this, but I can't seem to see anything else. This is what's here. It's just a look, motherfucker. The energy is here for this. It's here to deliver a lesson. It's not going to leave until the lesson has been fully absorbed. That's true for both sides. Again, the feminine is leaning into it quite a bit more. So I'm gonna stop with that. I'm gonna pull some bridging energy between these just to see. Just to see. Just for funsies. Oh, there we go. I like it already. Nine of Pentacles. I mean, getting liberation from this. Learning the lessons. Moving on. We're moving on to the next level. We're moving on up. We are no longer held back by this stagnant energy, by this suppression of self. It's here. It's available to both sides. It will be given to both sides. There is not an option in this liberation. It's jailbreak energy, but it's somebody blowing the wall down. The feminine is walking out. The masculine is standing there going, I was comfortable in this cell. Can I maybe stack these bricks back on top of each other? That's not working. Saturn keeps flicking them over. What's underneath that? Yeah, Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of Fortune. It's this is happening one way or another. The walls are getting blown down. That's just what it is. Go a little deeper. Yep, there's the Hanged Man. I mean, it's the same thing. It's time for the defensiveness to end, to realize the phoniness of everything we've surrounded ourselves with. Queen of Wands, 10 of Pentacles. Whoop, one more that fucking flew out. The Magician. It is time for this karma to be relieved, because there's the Hierophant for the third time. All 3 decks, the Hierophant, in surface-ish level energy. That's incredible. And it is just the nope, this is happening. The Hierophant, that's the Pope. That is the divine. That is Spirit saying, I am delivering this lesson. I am delivering this liberation. It's not an option. There's not a question here. It's happening. What's on top? Because I'm curious. In case it wasn't clear, the World, the most powerful card that can be pulled here, it's happening. This change is happening. There's the Knight of Pentacles. It will get through. The karmic debt will be paid. Now. Starting now. It's all being collected. There's no more waiting. There's no more extending the terms of this deal. There's no more pushing this out and, well, maybe in another couple of months. No. The collectors are here. They are standing outside your house. They are not leaving until they get what they came for. That's just it. So what's the bridging energy here between 8 of Pentacles and 3 of Swords? I can already feel, well, I mean, the masculines distracted themselves from it, and now they're being forced to work on it. The feminine is working on it, is ready to be liberated from the pain. Understanding you just don't withhold. You don't push it back. You let it out. 7 of Wands. That's how you get the upper hand on the pain, is by letting it be pain. By just letting it through. What's underneath that? 2 of Pentacles. Yeah, by flowing with it. By not questioning. By not letting fear or pain or hurt rule your decision making, which is what has happened on the masculine side. They've been largely driven, again, by ego, which is fear-based, control-based. It's very tight. It's rigid. It wants to keep everything out because it's afraid of it. It wants things to stay the same. What's on top? 10 of Pentacles. Yeah. It's a whole new world, one way or the other. We are moving into a whole new world where the pain is released. Again, just the feminine is ready, is learning how to view everything to their benefit, how to view the world in a new way, as one that is supportive, that is working for them. Life is for you. Particularly when you let it be, when you allow it to be, when you flow with the energy, the cork bobs to the surface, when you are just flowing with the current, you don't have to fight for anything. You're set up. You are set upon the highest path by the universe. Masculine energy tries to fight, tries to scrap. They're seeing how everything in their life has been based upon that. There's all pain involved in it. It's woven through everything. And they're very resistant to seeing that, to letting it go. But it's happening. That Queen of Wands, King of Wands behavior is very concerned with material things, with status. It's, well, I'm not happy, but I have the house. I have the job, I have the money, whatever it is. And they're afraid of losing that, even if it means going towards something that feels good, that actually has happiness in it. That's ego. That is what ego will do. It will keep you in a painful situation because of the fear of leaving it. Fear is not a reason for anything. Keeps us small, keeps us stuck, keeps us hidden in the shadows. What's the bridging energy between this Five of Cups reversed and the Page of Pentacles? The Lovers. That's really nice. Gosh. I mean, it's falling in love with yourself. That's what the lesson is here. For everybody. For the feminine, again, it's clear. It's about union with yourself. It's about loving yourself. Allowing yourself to fill your own cup, to be filled by divine love, which you receive for yourself by allowing it, by tapping into the present moment, by shifting your perspective, by actively, deliberately thinking those thoughts about yourself, that source is loving me, source is appreciating me exactly as I am. I can't get it wrong. I trust the universe, feeling that faith, that appreciation welling up within you. When you are loving source, source is loving you, and you just get into this groove. That feels really good. And the masculine doesn't have that. It's what's on top? Yeah, Eight of Swords. They've overthought love. They've just misunderstood love. The feminine is releasing this, is seeing how thinking is not a part of feeling. Thinking just stops us from feeling. The secret is to stop thinking and go with the emotion. Let it express. That's where the healing happens. That's where the good feeling happens. The masculine is seeing how they have overthought this connection, all of these relationships, many of the relationships in their lives, they've misunderstood, they've misinterpreted, mislabeled, because they've been based on thought, on practicality, on rationality, not on love. Care, not love. Opposite things. Bridging energy between the Seven of Pentacles and the Nine of Swords. Yeah, they're not good. They're not in a good way. They're more than a little fucked up over this whole thing. I mean, yeah, I'm getting that Five Swords energy here too, because they can't escape it. They can't run. The runner energy, which would normally flee from pain, from emotion itself, again, because it fears it, it can't run in this energy. Yeah, it doesn't work anymore. It's too slippery. There's too much angel energy for that to work. It's all changing. What's on top? Ace of Wands. It's all changing. The wand is staying lit. The feminine is ready for the new beginning. She's lighting the wand herself. The masculine is trying to put it out, but it's one of those self-lighting birthday candles that just keeps coming back. The divine says every time you try to turn this wand off, I turn it back on. That's how this is going to be now. It's just what it is. What's under that Wheel of Fortune? Yeah. It is. Okay, hang on. The cards flipped around. Eight of Wands. First of all, you try to turn it off and it turns back on. You try to suppress the flow of emotion and you get a stronger urge to express it, which is always true. The denial is not working. Yeah, it's abundantly clear. The sun crossed by the moon. Everything that has been hidden is being revealed with abundant clarity, with absolute pristine precision. It's just obvious. It is holding the eyelids open. It's the universe saying, you're gonna look at this. And everything that you're afraid of, all of this behavior, because what's underneath but the Emperor, all of this behavior, the out of balance Emperor, all of the things that you've tried to control have been controlling you. Once you have that revelation, you can't unhave it. It's there to be looked at, to be acknowledged so that we can make a different choice, so that we can see, I've been letting fear rule my life. Every decision that I've made has been made out of fear, trying to control a circumstance because I was afraid of what the outcome would be. I was afraid of being judged. I was afraid of disappointing somebody. I was afraid of what would happen because I wanted it to be one way. And where has that left me? In pain, unhappy, afraid of my own emotions, disconnected from life, disconnected from source, disconnected from my own energy, from the flow of the universe. And it doesn't feel good. And I put myself here. I did this. Me. Nobody made me feel this way. I am making myself feel this way. I have the choice. I could stop at any moment. I just wanted to flip around. The Queen of Cups. I could stop at any moment and look what's on the back. If I just let this emotion flow. It's a lot of cups, man. If I just let the emotion flow, even though it's scary, even though it's new to me, that's the secret. And I may not understand it, but I know intuitively, because the feminine energy is on the rise, and there's something telling me that I gotta flow my emotions. It doesn't feel good not to. I'm making myself sick. I am driving myself batshit catawampus, as Steve likes to say. All right, what is the bridge between Three of Wands and Seven of Pentacles here? It's time to go. I mean, it's time to go. That's in the cards right before it. It is time to get a move on. Yeah, Hanged Man. It's time to move. We've been stuck here far too long. It is, again, this perspective cannot be missed. It's unavoidable. The feminine is ready to look at it. The feminine is here for these lessons. The masculine's here too. They don't want to be. They don't want to be, but they're here. Yeah, it's all coming up. It's time to look at it. The moon, fear, that which has been suppressed, that which has been hidden. It's coming to the surface. Feminine is saying, bring it on. Let me see all the things. What was that? I can't remember. I wrote a line in a goofy little rap, but the piece is, fuck yes, another childhood trauma to relive. Yes, because let me be triggered. That's how the healing happens. I need to feel these emotions to heal them, to set them free. So let me be triggered so I can acknowledge this piece that I wasn't able to see before. Thank you for helping me see it. I really like that. Bridge between them. 9 of Wands. Yeah, the wall is coming down. 9, it's the end. The sun, again, peeking through. One way or another, this clarity is happening. This release is happening. It doesn't matter how guarded anyone is against it. It's getting through. It doesn't matter how hard we're plugging our ears against the lessons and trying to cover our eyes. It's still getting through. It's seeping in no matter what. And there's a realization combined with that of the harder we're fighting it, the more uncomfortable this process is. It didn't have to be this uncomfortable. We could just lean into it. The feminine understands that. Lean into the lessons. Let the triggering happen. Let the emotions surface. All you need to do is witness it, acknowledge it, let it be, flow with it. Just don't fight it. And actually, it doesn't feel so bad. You have the opportunity to surrender. Surrender feels good. Then you find the way to appreciate. You go, hey, this is an opportunity for me to grow, for me to feel good, actually. Feeling this pain is a way for me to feel good. I got this. Bring me another one. Masculine, not quite there, but they're facing it. They have to face it. There's no choice. They're tired. They're trying to resist it, but the resistance is futile and it's wearing very thin. Again, they've kept that cork pushed down under the surface for a long time. The muscles are getting weary. Something's got to give. The second that they stop the focus on the resistance, it sneaks in. The universe finds a way. You cannot avoid the lessons or the blessings. You cannot buck this current of well-being. You cannot fall off your path. You can't get out of the stream of well-being that's flowing around you. You can't. Even if you pinch yourself off from it, if you get bound up in resistance and get crossways of that flow, you can't sustain that resistance. It's only a matter of time. When you fall asleep, all of your resistance is released. Much of this could be happening through dreams. That's very possible. It's like trying to stay awake. The masculine energy is trying to stay awake, trying to resist the lessons. The second they nod off, it sneaks in, and it's gonna keep sneaking in. That's just what it is. Yeah, I gotta go get my food. I'm gonna pull just 3 cards from the bottom, a final summary of this, whatever else the universe wants to say. And I'm gonna get out of here and go eat a very late dinner. But I really wanted to do this because I wanted to do this for comparison, for science, for clarity, for contrast, all of the above. 3 cards from the bottom. Wow, okay, well, those flipped out. So we have the Devil and Ace of Cups. It's being revealed. It's being revealed that we've, first of all, demonized the flowing of emotion, and that was a mistake. That was the critical flaw. Again, mistake is just, it's a word. It all happened so we could reach this point where we have this revelation. But the understanding is, it's sinking in. It is sinking in. Hanged Man comes back. These are deeply spiritual lessons. Whether or not anybody wants to have these epiphanies, they're happening. You don't ask for the eureka moment, it happens. Yeah, and there's the Page of Swords deck again. There's a lot of disappointment. But again, it's a self-spying energy. It's just repeated with this Hanged Man, especially, of you are going to look at this, crossing the Hanged Man. There is no way not to look. Disappointed or not, somebody is seeing, multiple somebodies, masculine energy. Everybody, actually, really, is seeing how repressing the flow of our own emotion has only hurt us. And we have the choice to set ourselves free by simply letting that emotion flow. That's it. That's all it takes. We do the opposite of the suppression. We express, right? That's where the good feeling comes from, actually. 9 of Cups. That is the secret to feeling good, is letting our emotion flow. The second you do that, you speak that truth, you flow whatever it is, and you realize it never mattered what the outcome was. It mattered that you were resisting your own energy. When you do that, you feel the relief. You feel the release of the tension. You feel the realignment of yourself. You feel good again. And with practice, you understand, you gain the awareness of, this is how it's done. This is how I find good feeling. I evoke it within myself. How? By letting myself express freely within the moment. And every opportunity I have to notice the suppression, that's all it takes. Every time I notice resistance, every time I start feeling not so good, that's my clue, there's resistance. Now I have the key to feeling good again. I just release the resistance. I just lean into it. You don't even have to know what your resistance is. You just go, oh, there's resistance. I surrender to it. I surrender to the acknowledgement that I am feeling resistance in this moment, and that's okay. And then you surrender to the not surrendering. It really works that way. And you're back on top. You are back in power. You are flowing by your allowance of the moment of yourself to be exactly as it is. And you're feeling good. And then you have the chance to appreciate, and it just topples from there. You set up all the dominoes and you knock them down. It's perfect. Yeah, that's the whole message. That's all I got. This is the current status of divine feminine and divine masculine energy. Everybody is learning lessons. It's a really powerful time. It's an amazing time. What a blessing it is to be alive right now, experiencing this energy incarnate on this planet. We are a part of the evolution of human consciousness. This time period will be recognized at some point as the beginning of this shift, as the meat of it, really. Pretty fucking cool. And something to be grateful for. Be grateful for you, that you chose to be a part of this. You chose this. If you are incarnate at this time, it is not a mistake. It never is. But know that you deliberately chose to be here at this time, to participate in this event wholly unlike anything the entire universe has ever seen. All of the powers that exist, all of the consciousness that exists is focused on this right now, waiting with bated breath and cheering us on to witness the evolution of itself. It's beautiful. You are beautiful. Have a beautiful evening. I love you. Take it easy.